Just making some noise until I'm sure that we're live on all platforms. Not that I'm sure of anything anymore. It is Monday, September 18th, 2023 AD. 9:01 a.m. in 20 seconds, 21, 22. And U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. We're going to have a fun show. I think, we could. It's entirely possible. Base President Trump got liberal Jews trending on X. Those liberal Jews all mad, accusing him of anti-Semitism, and he loves the Jews. He called himself the greatest no hyphen, new word, Semite ever, because he loves Israel so much. He's the most pro-Israel president, or something like that. I don't know. In maybe a good way. He's pro-America and pro-Israel. Can you be both? Maybe Trump is, yeah. Joe Scarborough thinks that, does Joe Scarborough, MSNBC's answer to Hannity, does he really think that Biden is more cogent than Trump? Illegals, they're replacing us. Illegals will not replace us. No, they will. I have a clip from Bill Melugin of Fox News, local guy over here who joined up Fox News. That's cool. They're wearing camo and doing a lot of gotaways. 1.5 million gotaways under the Biden administration. Wow, that is shocking. I mean, it has been 3 years and change. Homeless mess in Seattle. Those liberals. Oh, we care for these people. We need to get them help. Oh, I need to get my golden mic. And some other things. Based Elon Musk. I want to cover more about Ellen, by the way, guys. Don't turn it off. Don't turn off the Hake report. Maybe I'd be better off. No, because I don't have the clip of her from my, not that I have ever had any illusions about Ellen, but my disillusionment with Ellen, when she just really chapped my hide. From 2015, I can reenact a clip of her, okay? I can reenact it. So you don't have to suffer through Ellen talking. You can suffer through Hake reenacting Ellen. What a mess. They're going, weak Drew Barrymore is such a disappointment, am I right? And some other things going on in the world. Dave Rubin wants us to be outraged at Trump's saying, when Megyn Kelly asked him if, the transgenders, like a man can become a woman or something like that. I don't know. He's all, excuse me. Snot-nosed Hake. Anyway, so all that, hopefully all that, we'll see. Eventually I will get to all those things, I think. And your calls, guys, if you would like to call in. It's Monday. Everybody loves Mondays, right? But anyway, everybody, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm just listening to my stream. How's the audio guy coming in, guys? Press 1 for it's coming in great. Press 2 if it's awful. Press 3 if it's a touch spotty but okay now. Anyway, just double checking. It seems to be okay. I thought I was hearing something strange, but it may have been my ears or my imagination or something. I gotta get that golden mic, indeed. Yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt today. Like I don't wear t-shirts every day. Somebody has one of my executive producers, or the executive producer of the Hake report, has me all self-conscious about me pointing out the clothing that I wear. talking about it. It's okay. So anyway, I'm wearing a dark navy blue T-shirt that says Prime with a ripping off the Nike swoosh, and it says pizza at the bottom. It is not related to the. It's just a shirt. It's just this T-shirt. I like it. The AC is supposedly on, but it's not. I wonder if the vent's working. And it has red print. So if you're watching the show and the thumbnail doesn't correspond with what I'm talking about, or if you're listening to the show and the thumbnail doesn't correspond, then you know that I got something mixed up. Yeah, Nike's making pizza now. Yeah, they might as well. Well, worse than pizza. Worse than even the euphemism for, let's not get into that. So it's just a local thing. I don't know. Stop looking at me. All right, so I'm going to get to your calls, but first, now I'm all blushing. See, check this out. Hat tip to John, who made this awesome thing. And you can see WJLP over here. We're looking at the golden mics for Hake. Well earned, by the way. And JLP. Okay. Base President Trump, truthsocial.com/@real_Donald_Trump. He shared this post, and let me read it to you, I guess. So he, yesterday, I guess it's Rosh Hashanah, or it was, or something, which is the Jewish New Year or something like that. And so Trump posted, he posted this graphic. I don't know if he wrote it, but he shared it on his Truth social media website. Just a quick reminder for liberal Jews who voted to destroy America and Israel because you believe the false narratives. And they do. They seem to. Let's hope you learned from your mistake and make better choices moving forward. Happy New Year. Nice. I think he should say the same thing to the blacks and all the rest of the not normal white and not white people who are by and large liberals, right? And so it has this drawing of President Trump by some Shane Boyvett or something like that in front of an American flag. Wake up, sheep, what Nazi? And he spelled it, whoever wrote this spelled it NATZI /anti-Semite, no hyphen, but it is a 2 words, which doesn't exist, but they're, that's a stand-in for people who, Jew blamers or whatever. Ever did this for the Jewish people or Israel? Number 1, Trump moves American embassy from Tel Aviv, one of the gay capitals of the world, along with Atlanta and San Francisco. Did you know that? To Jerusalem. At least that's what I heard, right? No firsthand knowledge. To Jerusalem, which is Israel's true capital. No other president had the, whoa, I should have censored this, had the guts to do it. He didn't say guts. Kids, don't read that word. He said a different word. Nice. Those rough around the edges Trump supporters who use slightly vulgar language, or maybe very vulgar language, and mosh with the police and fight with them and stuff like that. I disavow moshing with police. Number 2, Trump recognizes Israel's sovereignty over Golan Heights, which is some place over there. Number 3, Trump recognizes Israel's sovereignty over the settlements in Judea and Samaria. That has to do with them colonizing and expanding, supposedly. And I don't use colonizing as a bad word. Some people do. I am pro-colonization for Christ. Not that they're doing it for Christ. But anyway. Number 4, Trump signs, and this is Mediaite sharing this tweet from this graphic here, or this truth. It's not a tweet, it's a truth. Trump signs executive order for Judaism to be a nationality in addition to a religion. Wow. So it would fall under the category of Title VI of so-called Civil Rights Act of 1964. This is the only one that I don't I may not, I don't know if I agree with this. But anyway, that act prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin in programs receiving federal financial assistance. I think this is the one that you guys don't like. I mean, I'm not for anti-discrimination laws. I think we should abolish it. So, but anyway, institutions that violate Title VI? Is it Title VI or 9? I thought it was Title 9, anti-discrimination. But whatever. This means BDS. BDS stands, you guys know what BDS stands for better than I do. BDS, even Hassan knows what it is, right? Thumbs up if you know what it is, BDS. Oh, thumbs down, okay. So BDS means boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israel. And it's by both the liberal Muslims are for it and some of the liberal people, and also some of the whites support that thing because they don't like all of American support for Israel. Boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Okay. It has to do with Israel. So BDS will have a hard time harassing Jewish students on college campuses. Otherwise, they will get their stuff taken away. Harassing, that word gets thrown around a bit much for my taste. But there is harassment or harassment, cackling Kamala harassment. Stop harassing America, Kamala Harris. Anyway. Number 5, this is Trump. May 2020, Trump signs the Never Again education bill into law. Oh, never again. Which advocates millions of dollars expand the Holocaust awareness and create websites with curriculum tools for teachers nationwide. So that's Trump. Typical boomer stuff. Trump, which you would expect from a liberal or former liberal New York raised man in Donald Trump. Par for the course of what you would expect. Heart emoji, clearly one of the greatest anti-Semites of our time, he says. Or they post. Go back to Trump Liberal Jews 1 with the picture of Trump in it, because it's so much nicer than this ugly thing. Mediaite. No. Number 1, Trump Liberal Jews 1, greatest anti-Semites, destroy America, USA. There's a picture of Trump anyway. That's what he looks like. But that's what he shared on this True Social. Look, isn't that nice? And it's being sarcastic. Greatest anti-Semites. I mean, he's all pro-Israel, right? Hashtag Trump 2020. Hashtag Jexit. Jexit is kind of like Brexit, British exit from evil EU, European Union. Or Blexit, blacks and Latinos exiting the Democrat Party. Jexit, Jewish people exiting the Democrat Party. America flag, Israel flag. So Trump does that. It's all extremely pro-Israel. And then Twitter trends, liberal Jews. All these people, Brian Tyler Cohen, no lie with BTC. Yes, this is real, he tweeted, or X'd, he posted. Joyce White Vance posted all this stuff. What did she say? No lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. Trump just posted his social media app, True Social, attacking quote-unquote liberal Jews, saying that they are destroying America and telling people to wake up. No, he's telling them to wake up. He's not attacking them. He is exhorting them. Brian Tyler Cohen, you are indeed a liar. Not a Christian, by the way. Very unchristian to be lying about Trump's message. Or maybe he's just sincerely that blind. Joyce Allen. Trump tells liberal Jews to make better choices moving forward on his Rosh Hashanah message to them. And it's for real. Wake up, sheep. Really? He said, wake up, sheep? Oh, yeah, he did. Well, he didn't. He shared this graphic. AF post, America First post, shared it. Molly Jong Fast said, it's called anti-Semitism. Molly Jong -Fast. Some woman with Vanity Fair or something like that. She's a big Twitter ugly person. Ron Filipkowski, an anti-Trump guy editor-in-chief of Midas Touch, shared it. He's an attorney, a Marine, former federal and state prosecutor, former Republican Party insane asylum, but now he's an escapee, he thinks. He's gone from one insanity to the other. You just plow through all these other ones. I mean, I don't know if you want to do it because this is so many. I gave him like 30. I gave Hassan like 30 different screenshots of these people. But they're just going crazy. Rolling Stone covered it. Mediaite covered it. Midas Touch covered it. Fake news. Talking Points memo. Anti-Semitic warning to liberal Jews. Give me a break. So in other words, Trump being nice and telling them to wake up from their slumber is being... it's kind of like them calling JLP anti-black, even though he's like... loves the black people. What a mess. Fake news. Very typical. Nice. Okay. Last quick thing about Trump. Clip 13. Tom S. Elliott tweeted this out. NBC's NBC. That's Joe Scarborough. Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. He tried to compare Trump to Joe Biden, apparently. 2 minutes in a 2.5 minute long clip. Check this out. Not a comparison between Trump's cognitive decline and Biden's cogency. Check this out. Clip 13. Hit it.
You know, Richard, the thing is, I've always thought it so, I think it's just hilarious that you have people that actually support Donald Trump, have listened to what he has said, the nonsense, the garbled, the word salad, the whatever you want to call it. Just the absolute insanity if you follow the transcripts. And then they look at Joe Biden and say, oh, he's cognitively impaired. When you follow any Joe Biden press conference, as far as actual facts, as far as actual policy prescriptions, and compare them to just about any other Donald Trump press conference, there's just not a comparison. Yes, I can play 5 minutes of tape that shows Donald Trump looking cognitively declined. I could do the same for Joe Biden. At the end of the day, though, if you cut down underneath that and just talk about who is cogent on policy, Donald Trump loses by a landslide every time, doesn't he?
Landslide?
He does. But what's interesting about Trump is every once in a while I think there's some method to his madness, that he's actually quite clever in crossing lines about legal culpability when he, or on policy issues, how he was fencing with Kristen Welker yesterday on abortion, or he throws out the nonsense about how he'd end the war in Ukraine and just get these guys in a room, just like he ended the North Korean nuclear program. But he's, in his own way, he reduces his own vulnerability, and he kind of spins just constantly. And I'd say for his base, it clearly works for them. It's not conditional, the support, so he can get away with this kind of stuff, Joe. And I just think his supporters, they're kind of impervious to this sort of thing.
Yeah, they really are. It's just the fire hose of falsehoods, as they say, Mika. And they're very good at it. I mean, George Orwell used to always talk about how fascists were so much better at propaganda, and there is no doubt that Donald Trump has torn a page out of the fascist playbook when it comes to propaganda. You just load up and fill the zone with so many lies that people become impervious to it. And in this case, the fact that he thinks that he's running against Barack Obama and we're about to start World War II.
Be quiet, Mika. We don't want to hear from you. I like how she tried to jump in and couldn't. Nice. I liked how they cut it off before Mika could speak. Nice. Mika, and by the way, it is out there that Joe Scarborough was already married and Mika was already married, and they divorced and got married to each other. Gross. Shameful. Ridiculous. The impervious, invincible Trump supporter, says Carver531. Yeah. Hake, this is sad and depressing. You think so? All right, let me move on then. Mike is a first-time caller in Ohio on the line. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing? Are you there? Mike, come off of mute. There you go. Hey.
Hey, I've studied politics a long time, and one thing I noticed is just all about race.
It's all about
and
race.
I really wonder if the races will get along. I don't think they ever will, and it's all going to lead to a big race war. And they seem to blame white people constantly for everything, but they never want to move back to Africa. Why don't more people tell them to move back to Africa if they don't like it?
Because that's racist to say that. That's what they claim.
I mean, the thing is, they complain, but they have to live here because if they lived around their own race, they would make $2 an hour and basically live in a mud hut.
Say again?
I mean, they complain about white people constantly, but they don't ever talk about moving because living around black people would be a lot worse. They would make about $2 to $3 an hour in Africa and live in a mud hut.
Yeah, so you think it's all about race?
Yeah, everybody, the white people are the only ones that might change your vote. I mean, 80-90% of the time, people, if you're black, you vote Democrat, right?
Right. True.
And it never changes. It's not like next year they're ever going to vote Republican.
Yeah, only a few tends to wake up. And it tends, honestly, even though crime has gone up and down and up and down, they've really only gotten worse. The morality of people across, at least the symptoms have gotten worse, seemingly. The things that people support, the way that women of all races really dress, the way that people think is more and more insane. And you're right, the whites are being more corrupted into being for their own self-destruction, just like all the other races are voting for their own self-destruction. Just like Trump pointed out with the liberal Jews voting for the destruction of America and Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Yeah, and they talk about diversity, but they don't ever want to mention white demographics and admit that, like, in 100 years, only 1% of America will be white at that point.
Really? Man, well, we don't know what the future will bring, but that's the direction it's headed. I don't know if you're exaggerating
it's
or what.
Just simple math. You can look at demographics. We're down to what, almost 60%? I mean, it doesn't take a genius. People I've read,
I know.
You know, I'm kind of
The
a
children.
political expert myself, and I've studied this a long time, and I also talk about race and IQ a lot, and everybody's scared of it.
You know, the white children are already a minority. And when I say children, I mean like probably young adults are already a minority among their demographic. I mean, among their age group.
Well, if you study white flight, you know, obviously white people are just going to keep white flighting, and eventually they're going to all going to become like me and realize this is crazy. This is like our own self-destruction. They hate us. Yeah. They're not coming because they like us. They're coming for the money.
And unfortunately, the whites are going to go from fear to anger, which is not waking up. You know what I mean? They'll go from kissing up to lashing out. Some of them already are, you know, and that's not the right way.
I think the truth is the only answer for white people is segregation, because fundamentally the whole world always wants to live around us. That's the problem.
But what's
they
interesting
always want to live around us. But in Africa, they don't have that problem because nobody wants to live around them.
People naturally like the freedom to segregate and come together sometimes, naturally. But they don't. They didn't make it natural. They made it.
I think
forced.
people treat diversity like it's a satanic cult, and nobody can ever leave. And I tell people, if you're in a bad marriage, you get a divorce. It's as simple as that. If you don't get along with people, obviously at some point it has to end. Yeah,
this divorce is sort of a different issue, but I get your point though, because
but it's like a satanic cult just to say, hey, we don't get along. Maybe we should not live around these people.
Right. Yeah, it feels so.
To even say that you're in a satanic cult, and I'm not saying that because I hate everyone. I just don't want people that blame us for everything.
Yeah, it's blindness. It's kind of like what I pointed out about telling people go to Africa or go somewhere else if you don't like it here. It's considered racist to be against diversity or to be for segregation, and that's not.
Yeah, and the race. They call me racist all the time, but who cares? It's not like science. It's not really a great argument.
Yeah, it's not an argument at all. It's a projection. It's a phony accusation about they're pretending they're judging you, thinking that you're judging them, and you're judging based on reality, and they're judging based on their own evil blindness and brainwashing. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think it's like Jared Taylor said. What a lot of white people want, all we want is left alone. That's it. We just want left alone.
I didn't know that Jared Taylor said that. Jared Taylor is the guy from American Renaissance. He's been on the JLP show when I was producer a couple of times. And he's talked about this.
He's a hero.
He is, I met him one time over at Night for Freedom. He attended Night for Freedom several years ago with Cernovich and Milo and JLP and others. And he was interviewed by JLP about this anonymous public defender who wrote a letter an open letter to, I guess it was published in Ameren, about he's a public defender down like in Atlanta or somewhere. And he said that the black defendants, they don't dress with sense oftentimes. They don't show up to their court hearings on time or even show up at all sometimes. And they treat victims of their crimes with just utter disregard for their fellow human beings. They said if they're not kin, so they don't care how they treat their fellow human beings unless they're quote unquote kin. They're somebody whom they quote unquote love.
Yeah.
And that is a spreading selfishness and coldness and hardness of heart and blindness and irresponsibility that is really spreading. It's not just a black thing, but it's bad among the blacks. And that was a remarkable interview that JLP did after reading that little open letter. So, yeah, I appreciate that
Yeah, I'm
guy.
surprised they haven't put him in jail yet.
Well, that guy, he did it anonymously. So, I don't know. Yeah,
Well, I mean, Jared Taylor just...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but
he's very measured in how he speaks. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And he's smart about not going to these honeypot type of things and to get himself in trouble with riots and protests in conflict with people. I don't think he goes to that
look
stuff.
At January 6th.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
One guy got 20 years.
They're going after the normies. They're
Yeah.
going after everybody. It's evil.
You know, a lot of people don't realize in like 50 years or something, the entire world will be non-white.
Do you want to talk with a black caller who likes to confront me over this stuff? He thinks that he's a black Hebrew Israelite. Do you want to talk with John from Kentucky?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me bring in John from Kentucky. Kentucky, John, thanks for calling, man. You're live with Hake and this first-time caller, Mike from Ohio.
Mike from Ohio, the closet racist is what I would call him. Yeah.
Well, if you don't like America, why don't you go back to Africa?
I'm from America. I've never been to Africa in my life, so
I know, but you don't like white people. You don't like white people.
How ignorant
Go
can you
back to
be?
Africa, bro.
That's like me telling you to go back to Europe or Ireland.
John,
Well, I would
it makes no sense.
I'll gladly go anywhere that I can just live around white people without people like you complaining about.
Mike in Ohio.
That's probably your solution then, man. You need to go to a white country and just leave America.
John in Kentucky. Do you? Because he said that you don't like America. Is that true? You don't like America?
Man, I love America.
Oh, okay.
For what it is for me, but I mean, you're not gonna like everything
Well, it's
about
a lot
it.
better than living in Africa, isn't it?
I've never been to Africa. That's why I don't understand why Hake couldn't correct you on that. We're not
You would
from
make about
Africa.
$3 an hour and live in a mud hut.
Do you think Africa is all mud huts, man? Because that's the ignorance of white people. It's not. It's not all mud huts. It's the richest country in the world. It's just exploited
Sir,
by
they
white
make
people
$2
like
to
you.
$3 an hour. Black people have never even set up a good economy, sir.
Listen, you can't compare.
I don't think that it's. To be fair,
can't
John,
compare.
you make a fair point that it's not all mud huts and that it has a lot of resources that are exploited. But I don't think it's fair to say that it's exploited by whites like Mike. It's exploited by China, Russia,
right.
some other countries, some white, some non-white. And whose fault is that?
Well, it's been exploited by whites first, up until recently.
The British.
Chinese people.
Well, why are blacks so
British
weak
whites.
why are blacks so weak that they let everybody exploit them?
Is that what you think? The blacks are weak?
Well, he said he asked why are they so weak that they let the other races or other outsiders exploit their countries in the continent of Africa. Would that be weakness?
I think he needs to take a look in the mirror and look at the state of white America right now. The stuff he's doing, all this crybaby stuff, that's what all white people are doing now. Y'all have no leaders. Y'all always talk about step up. Who's going to step up? You guys are the weak
then why
ones.
are we always stronger and kick your ass?
Hey, keep it clean, Mike. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Why
Children listen to the show.
We're so weak. Why were we able to exploit you constantly throughout history?
But he makes.
I don't want to get into the biblical stuff because this is what I believe.
Okay.
But somebody like you, Mike, who's calling Hake and crying about black people, I mean, you're showing your weakness right now, right or wrong.
No, I just want to be left alone. But you guys want to keep living around.
Well,
you're always moving
leave the country. Go to Ireland. You got the money?
Yeah, if you study white people, we're constantly moving. They call it white flight if you study social science.
Well,
we're
fly
always
right
moving
now.
to get away
Fly
from you.
somewhere else right now.
He's making an interesting point, Mike.
Moving.
Mike, he's making an interesting point. John from Kentucky is that blacks are weak and complaining because they're exploited. Now whites.
I didn't say that.
Well, yeah. But in response to Mike's statement that's what's happening, John from Kentucky is saying that whites are being weak and exploited and crying and complaining about the attack on whites in their own countries.
Well, if you study social science, we're constantly moving
right now. Hey,
what's that?
I said I'm thriving in America right now.
That.
I don't know what he's doing, but
if you're thriving,
I don't have to run. Say again,
why complain about white people constantly if you're thriving, sir?
Man, I'm just complaining about the negatives of white people. The same thing you're doing right now on this phone. You just want to be left alone. Leave. You can fix yours.
I did. I mean, I moved to a white neighborhood to get away from you guys.
Okay, so what are you complaining about?
Well, I talked to politics, and you guys always want to live around us. The whole world is always trying to live around us, and then they don't even appreciate us.
Believe it or not,
it's like me moving to Japan really and complaining about Japanese people all day long. Do you think they would love me there?
I don't care about what you just said. But black people really don't care about politics, and the ones that do, yes, they're exploited by the Democratic Party, but I'm telling you, man, a lot of us do not care about politics at all.
Well, how could they? I think 50% of black Americans are illiterate. They can't read. They can't follow this.
That's not true. That's not true.
Believe me, the black literacy rate is incredibly high.
Well, I don't know what it is.
You mean illiteracy?
Yeah, the last time I studied it, I think it was like 60%.
It's pretty bad when you hear about the way that they talk. They don't know really what's going on. They have a loosey-goosey relationship with even the facts, whereas other people are very clever and evil and deceptive with facts. They lie with facts. Some of the blacks just lie with lies. Say again?
Well, I have experience. It's a different upbringing.
Yeah, and it's not just. It's I don't know. I think they're worse than in a long time because they've allowed the schools to go to HE double toothpicks.
Hell.
Well, I've studied intelligence a long time. Schooling cannot raise IQ. It really doesn't matter.
No, I don't care about IQ, but I mean just they don't know, they don't care, and they're angry. And when you're angry, you believe lies, no matter how high of IQ you are.
This guy Mike is angry. You can hear it in his voice. He's angry.
Maybe so. Yeah. I mean,
he wants.
Why wouldn't you be angry?
Hey,
I mean, what kind of point is that? Of course, we're angry. We're tired of living around people like that.
Hey, I want to ask Hake a question, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, is it not ignorant to tell black people to go back to Africa?
No, I mean,
depends on who it is. Depends on which black you're talking to.
Love the word ignorant.
It has to be an African. It has to be an African, right?
Yeah. Or if you're all
ignorant,
some blacks,
get the lowest grades.
In his defense, John from Kentucky, maybe it was ignorant to tell you.
God.
No, hold on. Maybe it was ignorant to tell you to go back to Africa because you said that you love it in America as your life. You just accused him of being racist. You weren't accusing America of being racist. I don't know.
No, I was just making a joke. I don't know if
I mean,
he's
the
racist
truth
or
is,
not.
if you're not racist, in a lot of ways, you're stupid because people want to have intelligent children, beautiful children, and they want to live in a safe, low-crime neighborhood.
Is it?
Because
That's why people are racist.
Isn't
That's
that
why
fair?
You
Isn't
can
that
never
fair,
get rid
John?
of racism.
Isn't that fair? Like, you don't even think that racism is necessarily wrong if it's from blacks, because blacks are the true Israelites. You think?
Well, I got
they're
different
the best.
beliefs. So I don't want to get on those beliefs, but
Right.
this guy sounds like a crybaby, man. Like he's your beta male y'all talk about all the time. He's not he's not no alpha male. He's a chump.
Is
He's
that?
a chump, man.
Is there any truth to that, Mike?
You can't get rid of racism. You can't get rid of racism because some races are smarter than others, and people always want to have intelligent children.
That's
so
what
if you're not,
people always want to go
if you're not
to.
racist, you're pretty stupid. If you're not racist, you're stupid.
But blacks are
Hey,
the
man.
but
Everybody
blacks
wants
are the
intelligent
most
children.
but blacks are the most racist, so called, meaning they're the
I
most
agree.
they're the most into their race, and they're
Yes.
they're that way to
That's
to
not
a
what
fault.
That's not what racist means, but
Yes.
They're that
Yes,
way
blacks
to
are all about their own race.
Yeah, and
if white people talk about their race, they're racist.
No.
But blacks-
Right.
Well, see, we have different upbringings, man. The
Yeah.
history in this country, we had to, cling on to our race and find racial pride because, man, y'all put us down so much. We were oppressed. We had to find pride in our race. So that's different for y'all.
I don't think that's
But
the
it's
case,
so
John.
easy.
That's a
Just go to Africa and you can live around your own race.
See,
but
that's
he's
just
an
ignorant, dude.
Israelite. He's not African.
That's ignorant. That's ignorant.
If you're tired of it, why do you
Go
keep
back to
living
Ireland,
here?
boy. Go back to Ireland.
Are you Irish, Mike?
I told you I've already moved to get away from you guys.
Yeah, he's in a.
We're always moving.
America's a big
Not
place
in America.
We're constantly
so
moving.
far.
Not in America, man. Go to Ireland.
But John,
Yes, they call
going
it
back to
white
the
flight. They
going,
call it white flight.
yeah.
Just call it crybaby. Scared white people.
Have you
What I call
have
it.
you ever studied social science where they call it? It's called
No,
white
man,
flight.
it's boring. No,
Yeah,
it's boring.
I
don't wanna
agree with
study
you,
that.
John.
Well, you probably can't read.
No,
you read?
I can
don't
read.
do
I
that.
can read just fine.
You're profiling him,
Come on,
Mike.
you probably can't read.
I can read
To
what
be
I
honest,
can
you probably
read,
can't
man.
read, bro.
Now,
I can read whatever
I want to
you
go
can
back.
read.
Can't read.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I want to go back.
He's an idiot.
I want to go back to what John said. He said that we put them down so much that they had to identify with their race. That's
the
not
truth.
true, man. That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. Hey, you're not black. How would you know? You're not black.
Why do I have to be black to know that that's ridiculous?
Listen, you were sheltered. You don't know much of how other people's culture is. Like you can only talk about what's in your bubble. You can't talk about what's in my bubble.
But I'm exposed to you guys' bubbles everywhere.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
no,
huh?
you have. Man.
I can hear by
No.
the way. Okay, you know how you see things about me that I don't even know that I let off. That's how you guys are. We see things about you that you're not even aware of yourself.
Well, no, you have your opinions about black people. That's it.
By and
You have
large, I have
opinions.
no. It's not opinions. It's
Yes, it
perception. We perceive you to be insanely into your race to the point where you're just blind. You're pro
You
race.
have
You're
to
not
be
pro what's
able-
right.
You have to be able to put the shoe on the other foot.
Uh-huh.
Like I've been around whites in large numbers. Like I've experienced that culture. Like I had white friends growing up, so I can take my culture and I can take their culture and I can look at it and I can compare and contrast. You can't do that.
Yeah, huh?
All you have is Jesse and Joel. That's it.
All the every black caller who's called into my show, and the blacks
But-
in Pasadena, and the
But
blacks.
you haven't lived with them. You haven't like experienced the things they experience. You have to live it, Hake, to understand it.
Give me an example
No,
because
I
you're just
understand.
talking.
You guys basically lost the genetic lottery.
Dude,
I mean, you
dude.
guys have the smallest average brain, the lowest IQ, the least amount of facial beauty. You have high crime. Nobody wants to live around it. I mean, I feel sorry for you, but I guess
You sound
God,
like a
I don't know what to tell
Ku
you.
Klux Klan member, but did you know that blacks have dominant genes and y'all have recessive genes? Did you know that?
Yeah, that's why we
Okay,
we
so what are you
actually have
talking
different
about?
color eyes, not just black eyes forever.
But
Well,
this is,
I mean,
but
that's-
that's
We want
all
kids with
irrelevant.
Actually,
That's
soft, nice hair, not nappy
That's
hair.
why-
bro.
but that's all basically
that's why
irrelevant
my
stuff.
race is
Who cares?
growing and your race is decreasing.
Well, that's because we're smarter, and smarter animals have more offspring because we put more time into raising.
That's because when we have kids with white women, they're black now. They're not white anymore.
Oh, I know. Nice. They all want a white girl because white girls are better looking.
No,
they always talk about white
really.
Women. They always love to talk about white women.
All right, guys, I appreciate the conversation. Mike in Ohio, thanks, man. Take care. Thanks, Mike.
You guys always want white girls. We know.
I got to go, Mike. Take care, man.
You sound angry, Mike.
All right. John in Kentucky, that was pretty interesting, man. Appreciate your call.
You sound angry, man.
The fair point, yeah. He may be a little angry, but like you're not.
Not a little.
But you guys are pointing out true things about each other and not seeing yourselves.
Are you some type of guru or something?
Yeah, I mean, no. People can hear. People can hear that you just. Guys basically just accuse each other of stuff that is partly true about each other.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell anybody to go back to somewhere really because it's just not reality. So I know when I hear a white person say that, they're like the most ignorant people ever.
Isn't it sometimes
like, it's stupid? It's stupid.
It? But if somebody's complaining about America and they're all pro-Africa or something, then it's a fair statement.
America better. Just make America better. Nobody wants to go from where they're not from. There's no place like home, man. You heard that before, right?
Yeah.
Just make it better.
Well, all right, man. I wish you well, John in Kentucky. Great call, man.
All right.
All right, bye. William in California is on the line. William, thanks for calling, man. What's up?
How was your weekend, brother?
It was nice. How was yours?
Oh, it was pretty mellow. Sit up looking at the 49ers Rams yesterday and just having hot dogs and hamburgers in the backyard and using my grill. Hey, man, to make America better is to be more convenient for the blacks, because here's the deal. The blacks need to realize that you are guaranteed the opportunity because of the freedoms of the country. You understand, James?
Yeah.
But you're not guaranteed the results.
Right. True.
So
Facts.
How do we make it better? You mean give you everything? Make you CEOs of companies that you're not qualified to be? See, John calls in a certain time of the day only because he works for his white daddy. He's not going to attack any white man on that job.
Come
because
on.
I'm not here attacking your callers. I'm saying I would do the same thing if I talk crap behind my boss's back, right? I ain't going to talk crap to his face.
Right.
The thing is you're working for somebody, and if that person happens to be white, it's not an attack on your callers. We're not going into that. If you work for somebody,
sounded like an attack.
No, it's not. No.
But you said white daddy. Come on, that's not his white daddy. It's his white boss.
So he has white boss. Well,
but we
attack your white boss. But there's no attack. But here's the deal. Attack your white boss.
But hold on, man. Why would he attack his white boss? He's attacking me because he disagrees with me.
Yeah, but see, you're attacking people on this show every time that dude you was just attacking him because you guys were actually telling the truth about each other.
By and large, yeah. I mean, I don't know about the...
It's not an attack on either one of the callers. You're accusing each other of stuff that's true.
Right. And neither of them is.
I'm not so bad. If I'm not such a big bad black man, if I attack somebody white that's helpless, they can't do nothing about what I'm saying to them.
William, do you?
So if I want to be so big and bad, why don't I go to my job and start with him?
Do you
want? He ain't going to do that.
William, do you want to talk to?
Nobody's going to do that.
Would you like to talk to Maze?
Hell no.
Okay, all right.
I mean, come on, man. Every time I call, 100%. Wait a minute. You set this up all the time. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Set it up.
You said, okay, well, somebody's setting it up.
No,
because every time I've called you for 2 years, she's followed.
But because she
No,
she tends
James,
to attack.
Ain't against you. I'm saying every time I've called, 100%, she's followed. That's not my wife.
I know.
I don't know who she's
right,
married to.
Right.
She needs to talk to another. She needs to talk to another woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you don't have to. But you kind of like that because you're like, oh, I know these blacks are gonna call in because they don't like it.
There's no competition for me. She's gonna call in.
I know, but now you're talking about her.
She's gonna say, "What about the whites?"
No. Well, yeah, probably so. But you're talking about.
So.
But I suggest if you don't want to talk to her, don't talk about her.
Don't talk about her.
Yeah.
Correct.
And but you did talk about her because you said.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
When I did. When I brought her up, you
And
talked about
so
her.
what?
So it seems like it
Yeah,
would only
but
be
so
fair that
what?
she talked to you, but you don't want to talk to her. That's
so
fine.
What? That's part of your format. You got to have the good and the bad, or the opposite. You got to have an opposite situation to make it.
It's a commentary and discussion show.
Exactly.
It's fun.
Exactly.
And it's
The
meant
thing
to
is,
hopefully.
she doesn't pretty much know that, and she'll take that favorite caller thing to her head in a different way. But I know what that's for.
Anyway.
Every time I've called you for 2 years, 100% she's followed me every time I call.
Not ever. Well, almost. Yeah. Oftentimes. She's my
But
favorite
it's
caller,
okay. Pardon me?
She's my favorite caller.
I know she is, bro. What I tell you about that? You know? Yeah. Mildly attractive ain't really attractive either, is it?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but see, the thing
Hit and
is,
miss.
I know that it's not that you're playing a game, James.
Right.
I said no because that's not going to make your show any more entertaining than it
No,
is already.
it wasn't about entertainment. She had a question for you, and sometimes I do that
Like
type of thing,
what?
and sometimes
What
I
can
don't.
She actually has look. She doesn't have that kind of thinking to be talking to me anyway.
All right.
Because I've noticed everything. I've got. There's a lot of callers I don't agree with, but
Yeah.
that just doesn't make any sense over there in Dayton.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
I don't sit up there.
It's to the point. It's her points, and I will get to her.
Makes no sense.
No, hold on. But
She
her
doesn't
points.
answer any questions you ask her. She's going to say, "What about the whites?"
Eventually,
They're on the
she
phone.
might. Sometimes, but anyway, her points are to your point that you called in about. Sean wrote down for me. Blacks hate blacks who disagree, and that's
They sure do.
That's
They sure do.
and honestly,
you
it's
say,
kind of like you hate them. Like, do you hate Maze?
No.
No, okay, but Maze.
No.
Maze
She's
jumps.
just a woman.
Maze
She's only
pounces.
a woman. Why should I hate her? She's somebody's wife. Why would I hate her? I don't know her.
Maze pounces on black callers like you and Rick, who disagree with
See,
their
that's
mess.
because, okay, all right. Why does she do that?
But anyway, I don't want to talk about her if you don't want to talk to her.
No. One question.
Yeah.
Why do you think she does that?
Because she wants us to be balanced and fair.
The world, and this country especially, is not a democracy. It's a republic. It is not balanced.
Right. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
James works
Very
harder
true.
than me, you know what I'm saying? If James works harder than me, James is going to get a bigger paycheck. That's all it is to it.
Or smarter. Harder or smarter.
That's pretty much the truth right there.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of this, they say doctors. They say women doctors don't make as much as male doctors. Female doctors don't make as much as male doctors. But they don't stop to think the fact that male doctors are available more.
Yeah.
Because eventually a female doctor is going to take paternity leave or something.
Yeah. And all kinds of different things.
The base of the Golden Gate Bridge. Do you know anything about underwater welding?
The bends. Is that where the bends comes from when they came up too fast and their blood bubbled and they died?
What's that?
Is that from the Golden Gate Bridge? When people
a lot
got
of
the
people
bends?
died building that thing, but I'm going to point something out to you.
Men.
Women cannot do everything a man does, James.
Right.
They have underwater welding. They poured concrete in a base of an ocean floor and drained it out,
Wild.
and then put the water back in with underwater divers and carpenters. Do you think there was any women that did that?
Probably not.
They get paid more than you get paid because they do more than you do.
And the women tend to petition the government and unions and all that stuff in order to get out of work and to get more free stuff and paid family leave and
think
paid
about it. If
mess.
if you got two doctors and one of them comes to work more, he's available more
Right.
than a female doctor.
Ridiculous.
And they'll think that that's discrimination. They'll think it's discrimination because economically, white folks got more money than more white folks got more money than more black people. I mean, they got black people with money, of course,
Right.
lots of money. But the thing is, per capita, You only 11% of the or 13% of the population. You're responsible for nothing successful. You're only responsible for complaining.
And
You're
that
only
goes to
responsible for
that goes to John in Kentucky's point about the difference in raising. The Asians are raised to be way too into the academics. The whites are raised to be all responsible.
Way too in?
Yeah, way too into.
In. You know what? There is actually no black culture in the United States because we were caught by slave ship owners. And ship owners didn't go in those bushes to go get the blacks. Those were the blacks that brought blacks to the docks. Because if you go to Africa or any other tropical country right now, James, you got to get a whole lot of shots to even take all the...
I follow Black Twitter sometimes, and on Black Twitter I learned that there was a black king who was threatened by one of the white kings or something like that you better sell us more slaves or else we're coming to get you. So they sold the slaves under duress.
That's not true.
I think there's some truth to that, probably.
They sold the slaves for tobacco and whiskey and gunpowder.
But sometimes it was under duress. Sometimes.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe.
No, it wasn't. They said they want reparations. Why don't they go to Nigeria and get them? Go to West Africa.
Now, Black Twitter is just part of
And you don't even want to move
Twitter.
to Africa.
Yeah.
That's another thing. They don't want to move to Africa. They think that.
Some
they
do.
Talk that. But some do.
That
Some
W.E.B. Du Bois.
Some have.
Yeah, some of these.
Wait a minute.
There's
some actually have.
Yeah.
And
some JLP
it was a
guests.
rude awakening. It wasn't the same as here.
Well, some of them pretend like they like it better, and they may well. But they don't, actually, because wherever you go, really there you are. You bring your hell with you. Like JLP said in church
They don't like it, they don't like it better. That's just like people are moving from San Francisco. They're moving from California to Texas. You've heard that a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what? They're starting to not want to move to Texas now. They're starting to pick other states because Texas is getting bad because it's not the older people that's coming down there relocating. They're bringing their children and offspring with them. And along with that, they're bringing their California behavior with them.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
And not everybody in the country really wants to sit there and listen to them or even see that because there's no like the man just said on the phone a few minutes ago that was talking to John. They all want to live around us. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how the blacks feel inside of them, honestly, for somebody to really say that about you. That things are pretty bad.
Well, I appreciate it, William.
About the other. Go ahead.
I got to end, but appreciate your calls, man, as always. Take care.
I appreciate your callers.
Nice.
I just don't like to be constantly attacked by the same people all the time. It's like the same three. It's like
you should be.
Text.
You should take it in stride.
I should be honored that you do that.
Yeah. Don't even worry about it. You shouldn't dislike it. But I appreciate you.
No, I
William.
don't dislike it. It's just getting on your nerves because what it is, it's a setup to keep from dealing with your problems in your own community.
Yeah.
What about the whites is going to be the talk of the day all the time. What about the whites? No, we're not. How about this? We're not talking about the whites.
Well, take care,
Why
William.
We're just talking about black people because you're constantly in the news, killing, stealing, terrorizing.
Thanks, man.
And that's just a fact. You can't talk to me about something like that. Let's talk about the solution.
Adios, man.
All right, bro.
All right. William in California. Before I get back to the calls, again, I have my favorite caller here, and a first-time caller. Let me show you guys the illegals invading real quick. Hassan, can you pull up this clip 12 and just show it as soon as you have it ready? This was from Bill Melugin. Look at this. We witnessed numerous illegal immigrants. Look at them. This is the wall, Trump's wall, I think. Our greatest president. We witnessed numerous illegal immigrants dressed in camouflage, using ropes. Look at this. To scale the border wall, then run off in the desert without apprehension, meaning they're not caught, in Naco, Arizona. A smuggler on the wall guided them. Look at that. There have been over 1.5 million gotaways, meaning they got away under the Biden administration. 1.5 million in 3.5 years, right? There are very few BP agents, Border Patrol agents, to patrol this area. 3 years or 2.5 years? I forget. And this plays out every day. The evaders typically have pin drops on their cell phones. They have cell phones showing where to go for smuggling pickups once they're in the United States. We did see one woman get caught by agents. ¿Qué onda? Estuvo? Something like that. Beautiful area. Beautiful Arizona. So watch out. One time I went to southeastern Arizona on a so-called natural history trip. And we had to watch out for La Migra and the illegals. Not to mention snakes and stuff. So that's wild. Just thought I would share that little update from based Bill Melugin _ Melugin. A Chad man young man who works for Fox News, putting the truth out there, brother. Whew. It's time for a break, guys. Enjoy this music. This is OK. Hat tip to Evil Is Still Real, who requested more OK. I don't know if this is one of the songs you like. This is Now by OK. Marty Anderson is OK, or was. I don't know if he's even still alive. He had Crohn's disease, and that's why his voice is weak and he sounds like a grandma. But it's catchy music. I enjoy it. It's not Christian necessarily, but it is kind of deep, irregardless, which is not a word. So here it is from 2005 or 4, the album Low Road. Now by OK. Be right back. Yep. No, that's not right. Wrong song. Hold on. Ya musical Philistines. Is the other one working? Ya musical Philistines. Give me the thumbs up when you're sure that it's going to work. Cover your ears, press mute. That was the punk music that I'm going to play at the end of the song. At the end of the Hake report. Cover your ears, press mute, but it's nice. Sling your cattle, harvest your crops. Here it is. I think. Yes. This is it. This ain't it, Hake. Grandma smoker effect. Palos Verdes. Or South Carolina. Come on, Hake.
You and me. There's no way out for you and me now. There's no way out for you and me.
This is my jam. Hey.
There's no way out for you and me.
Just in time for some horrible music. It's no Nickelback, Hake. Is this my SpongeBob? What happened to CCR? Sounds like Macy Gray. Is this RFK singing? It's E.T. singing again. Absolutely Kosher Records. Rest in peace.
Every single day, I had to stand in this way. Every single day, I had to stand in this way. Every single day, I just got tired of trying. So tired of trying. So tired of trying.
Hey, thank you guys for bearing with me through the beautiful music. Gets me so pumped up. Somebody said, Hake, your shows go in major decline. You only get excited during your songs. Terrible. I got to read some super chats. Evil is still real. What's up, man? Finally, not morally straight G-word song. Shout out to the low IQ incel chat people, tards. Nice. Thank you, man. Who also said, what kind of a M word, Oron May, would put on a shoe on the other foot? Yeah. You shouldn't be putting the shoe on the other foot. Maybe talking about Joe or John or somebody. Does the monkey mean monkey? Ain't no monkeys in our family tree. Walk in someone else's shoes? Oh, the shoe on the other foot. I've heard of the shoe on the other foot. I don't know. The messed up culture is the R-word culture. Ape ray culture. Interesting. I'm censoring it so badly that it's butchering the meaning, but I can't help it. It's a commentary on the caller who said the shoes on the other foot. But thank you, man. Appreciate that. Evil is still real. Don't use that women feminist term, R-word culture, ape ray culture. You know what I mean? Jellybean Carver bought me a coffee saying Kentucky John versus Ohio Mike was amazing. Hope you do more caller versus caller debates, says Carver. Thank you, man, for the coffee. Real Donald Trump bought Hake 5 coffees, sharing on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, sharing a YouTube, is that a playlist? YouTube video /playlist, sharing some Japanese characters, music video, and Google Translate says, Sakana kushon wa sure ra re nai. No. And that means second action or fish action / unforgettable. Thank you, Real Donald Trump. I shall check it out. Did you know that Real Donald Trump buys Hake coffees? Salute to our commander-in-chief. Spoiler alert, bought a coffee over on Ko-fi.com/The Hake Report, KO-FI. And it's a news tip for Hake or Jesse or whomever. A couple of interesting videos from Still Gray and Frank 941-747-822. And some archive from CBC, Canadian Broadcasting something, Canada. Thank you, man. I'll have to check those out and pass those along. That's cool. And thank you for GMD Jim for subscribing monthly over on Ding Dong Ditch D Live. That's cool. Hassan. We were texting back and forth. Did you know I text with Hassan? Host of Wow Hassan, Walking on Water Hassan. You had an interesting debate over the weekend or something like that, right?
Yes, and I came to my my source, the Hake News.
Yeah,
the Hake report for the facts and the stats. But yeah, over the weekend, Friday night, I went over to meet with a friend at one of his friends' places, and yeah, we were just talking, and a lot of them are, they're black and from Chicago, and but really the main person that I got into it with was this very liberal Jewish guy.
Oh.
So shout out to Trump.
Yeah. Who expressed love for liberal Jews. He didn't attack them.
Exactly.
He attacked the lies that they embrace. He
Yeah.
didn't attack them.
Yeah, and it kind of went from like the Second Amendment conversation to I don't know, him saying that we need to get rid of the Second Amendment and guns.
Wow.
And then basically it led to me asking the question like, okay, but wouldn't you say that Chicago, New York, these places that have very strict gun laws,
Yeah.
they don't seem to be doing great, you know?
Right.
The typical
Good point.
talking points, right?
Yeah.
And then that somehow led to the black-on-black violence,
Right.
specifically in Chicago.
Somehow, how is so-called gun violence linked to black violence?
Exactly. And so anyway,
Shout out to the blacks.
long story short, it just kind of, it was funny because he ended up like getting really angry and leaving, but
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was insane that, I was like, look, everybody here should want to if there is a problem, we should want to like fix the problem.
Right.
And we can't do that if we don't even acknowledge and accept that there's a problem here.
Right.
They're like, oh no, it's fine. I think it's good. I think you're focusing on the bad because you're angry and you're just focusing on the bad. That's just the type of person you are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, to have eyeballs.
They were talking about so-called gun violence.
Yeah.
So he thinks that he's focusing on the bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about a hypocrite. Anyway.
No, you're right. And and that's what I said. I was like, again, the guns aren't the ones who are violent. It's a people problem.
Yeah.
And specifically.
Good point. It's obvious, too.
Yeah, and specifically, it seems to be rampant in the black community. It's an epidemic. And to say that it's not is just being dishonest and disingenuous.
Yeah.
And then I think that might have led to me potentially just kind of like asking, like, it's funny because even John from Kentucky saying that blacks have like a warrior gene, he would almost.
Oh, is that what he was saying?
Or something to that extent. And it's
Yeah.
like, I kind of brought up that I was like, well, I mean, he might not be saying it in the same, he might not be meaning it in the same way.
Okay.
But I brought that up. I said, well, look, we have to also maybe just say that it's possible that, just raising the question, is it possible that blacks are just predisposed to violence? And John from Kentucky saying that, like, there's a warrior gene, it's really the same thing. It's just differently, like, how it's being said. But anyway, so the point was it kind of went off the rails, and then
Yeah.
but what was ironic was the next morning, Saturday morning, I was texting you
Right.
and getting all these like stats of like Chicago murders, and because they're
Yeah.
like, show me the stats.
I know.
And I'm like, dude, you have eyeballs, bro. Like,
That's living in denial, really, is what that is.
yeah. And I'm like, are me showing you the stats gonna make it any better? But
It's
anyway.
funny, they call you ignorant when you bring up the reality, but they're the ones who are really ignorant.
Yeah.
They call the racist people like Aznavour, of all people, ignorant. And you talk about ignorance, you're talking to somebody who knows what he's talking about. Some of the most quote unquote most accused of being racist actually know quite a lot. It's not ignorance. It's
shout out to
right or
Asmund, though.
wrong, truth or false, and love or hate. You can tell the facts with hatred or pride, and that's not truth. But it's crazy.
Yeah,
What a
shout out
mess.
to Asmundor because he definitely has the
Yeah.
facts and the stats.
He's our resident historian.
Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, so it was just interesting to see kind of like, you know, the denial of like, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to accept this, but if we don't accept it, we can't find the solution. Like William said, like, I'm about solutions. Let's get to the solution.
Yeah.
But we can't get there if we don't think that there's a problem. You know, they're like, oh, there's no problem.
Yeah.
Chicago's actually fine. It's actually made up. That's what they were saying. That
It's the media portrayal.
yeah,
is
yeah.
what they say.
And then I love the thing you sent me because it said that Rahm Emanuel was caught hiding
Yeah.
a lot of the stats.
Cooking the books.
Yeah, cooking the books in Chicago. And it was just so ironic that it was like Rahm Emanuel who was doing that, and then this like liberal Jew I was talking to was like trying to kind of hide his hand in the same way. So it was
Right.
interesting in that way.
Very true.
But then after I was talking to you Saturday morning and getting all the stats, I went to the park and I'm not snitching here, but a black dude beat up a white person and almost wanted to beat me up.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was unbelievable to see that. But
That's wild, man.
yeah,
So right in front of your eyes, you saw that?
right in front of my eyes, and he was gonna beat me up too.
Man.
But he was like, I've known you for super long, and I'm not going to. But and I won't get into the specifics,
Whoa.
but he definitely it was definitely a perfect example of
Was it quote unquote racially motivated, or was it
Yes.
just an anger thing?
yeah, the white. I don't know if he's white. He looks like Armenian, maybe Mexican, but
White enough to be hated.
yeah, he said the N-word, and
Oh.
and he didn't say it directly to him.
Mexicans are allowed to do that. kind of.
Well, that's kind of what this guy said.
Right.
And the black guy was like, nah, not around me. And it went off the rails.
Crazy.
And I tried to make a joke,
Yeah.
and it made everybody angry. So I got out of the way.
Nice.
Because I had Sandy. I can't be.
Right.
I gotta get out of there.
That's crazy.
But anyway,
Thank
so
you, man.
shout out to Hake for giving me the stats and the facts.
I know. At the end, I was talking about how JLP cuts through all of the mess because it's not about the facts, because the facts are never going to open anybody's eyes or awaken anybody. It can be surprising. It can be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. And it can change your mind a little bit on surface physical things. But love is what cuts through it all. Love builds up, but knowledge puffs up.
Yeah, I
as
love
the
that.
Bible says.
You're right. I love that you said that. You're right.
Yeah.
And that is true. That is what we do need to remember, specifically like as Christians and as like really yeah, you're right. That needs to be and it is easy to get caught up in all
Yep.
these like
It's just an ego battle.
yeah, it is.
Yep.
And you could go down these different roads of like blaming and hating and
Yeah.
and it's just slippery. It is slippery because you can quickly go down these roads and it's like
Right.
these rabbit holes are never ending. So
And
you're
that's
right.
what John was trying to point out with Mike from Ohio, my first time caller. John was saying Mike sounds like he's playing victim. He's the beta male whom you talk about. He may well be that may be true, and a lot of whites have fallen into that victim and anger, and yeah, they know a lot of the facts that they're talking about, but they're just mad about it, and that's not a solution.
Yeah, and it almost like lastly, real quick, it almost is like with the intellect, like the more facts and stats that you do get and you fill up the intellect,
Yep.
and you're like, oh man, now I know these like
You feel like you're armed
yeah,
for
yeah,
battle.
yeah. And it really is. It's very detrimental. But if you can get to a place where you graduate like consciously and go to like an enlightened state, you can say the stats like you said, or say the facts, but not really have any bravado on it. You're just stating them, and that's it. It's not like you're trying to get somebody.
It doesn't take too many facts to know just the gist of reality. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
People basically know just by looking around them. It just
that's the thing that gets me ticked is when people are acting like they don't have eyeballs and common sense.
But they don't.
Yeah.
They don't have common sense.
I guess.
They're detached from. Common sense is common to all, but they're not. They're dissociated from it. They're separated from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it almost reminds me of like how Bible thumpers are with the scripture. It's like
Right.
like people want stats the same way like a Bible thumper will be like, well, show me the scripture. Pull up the verse.
Yeah.
And you can't even have like a conversation.
They'll deny it.
Yeah, a real conversation where everyththing has to be pulled up with like a reference like every second. So,
Yeah, like logic does not apply.
yeah, exactly.
And your own God-given spirit of
like
understanding truth
We're here right
is
now.
not present. You're not connected to that.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's crazy. May's my favorite caller from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Mays, thank you for holding. How you doing?
I'm doing just marvelous.
Nice.
Heck, I didn't know he was going to a race just because I wanted to ask him a question.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't
May.
want to talk to you. That's his right not to want to talk to
Yes,
you.
that's his right. I do not care
Yeah.
if he don't want to talk to me. That's
Yeah.
that's his business. But then I listened to what he had to say. They don't want us to live. They don't want us to live around. We don't want them to live around us. I heard two people say it. I heard Mike say it and William both. So you don't want black people. William don't want black people. Mike don't want black people to live around them. So how could he be a black man? He talks in third person.
How could William?
Yeah, because he said the same
Jesse's
thing.
black, and he talks about the blacks
No.
in the third person.
Excuse me, Jesse don't talk about the blacks in the third person.
Yeah, he does.
It's like we
The
want to
third
talk about
person. Third person means they, right?
right.
They,
mhm.
him, her. He says
And
the
then-
blacks. What's wrong with the blacks?
Can I finish?
But he's
Then he
talking about
said
them
we
in
get
third
on the
person.
evening news every day.
You can finish, but Jesse does talk about blacks in the third person.
Yeah, just talk about black people in a certain way too. It's just like you say, so being superior over somebody. That's what if people think that. I don't think nobody's superior over me. And some
Nice.
people think being superior because you got a little money or you got a company, you got to be superior to that person. That's what's wrong with some.
Yeah.
We all don't
That's
think the
folly.
same. We don't look the same and we don't think the same.
Do you
So,
feel
and how long
superior
have
to
I been-
anybody?
Excuse me?
Do you think you're superior to anybody?
I don't. And I want somebody to be superior to me.
How about Rick? How about Rick from Hampton, Virginia?
Nobody.
So you're not superior to Rick from Hampton, Virginia, even
No,
though
I'm
you call
not.
him a slave.
No, I'm not.
All
I
right.
just give the facts and the things that I live. And
Nice.
I asked you a question. How long have I been talking to you?
You've been talking to me for
How many years?
many years, many years.
So
About 10
many years
years.
is more than two, right?
Yeah, more than 2.
So that's just like you came to somebody's house 2 years and somebody that's been there for maybe 12 years
Uh-huh.
to tell them how they supposed to talk to a person. You don't know why you call me your favorite caller. I don't think nothing of it.
Nice.
Just say it. Just something that you're saying.
Right.
But I like to correct things when people just look at one thing and look at it one way, but you want to accept what you're doing. You always want to go back to your country. You can't go back when people move the maps around and do it in this country too, and you always want a neighborhood. The neighborhood that you live in is the one you could afford to be in, not because of your color. Because somebody his color can't even afford to live in some of the neighborhoods he wants to be in, and that's his problem, not ours, not black people. And then again, I say when you talk about guns and violence, the same people that put them guns in that black community need to take them out.
Why?
Didn't somebody put guns in the black community?
No, I mean, they brought them in themselves.
They didn't.
Yeah, they did. They're bringing
Thank
them
you.
in themselves. Oh, wait, you
No,
talking
they
about?
didn't put them in there themselves.
Are you accusing the CIA of bringing guns in the
No,
community?
I'm not accusing CIA. Looking at Oliver North and those kind of people.
Oliver
Remember
North.
the Contras and all that when they brought the guns to the
Wait a
community?
minute.
You don't remember that, do you?
No, I was a
Oh,
baby.
wait a minute, nothing. You
I
know
was a
it's true.
baby. I was a
and it's just
kid
like
when
the-
Oliver North was in the Reagan administration. You're talking about that?
It's just like the crack, and it's just like the opioid.
Come on.
So who put that in the community?
Nobody.
Who put the opioids in the
The
community?
people who everybody.
Really?
The people
Did
who
anybody
brought
go
them
to? Is anybody going to jail for it?
I don't know. It's
Even being on it, high and
Some of
running
it
into
was
people,
legal.
all
I
over
don't know.
people, grass and everywhere, laying around, and different things. Is anybody going to jail? You know what they doing for them? What are
What?
they doing, James? Is it fair?
what? What are you talking about? Who
You
doing
got
about
the
what?
crackhead, and then you got the ones on opioids.
What about
And
it?
you want to come up and give them a free pen, machines, and everything, give it to the cops or whoever if you found one laying out.
Oh, yeah, the Narcan thing or whatever it's called?
Yes. Well, why do we have that? Why don't they just put them in jail and punish them?
Put them in jail so they just die.
What you say?
Put them in jail instead of giving them the life-saving Narcan stuff.
Well, maybe they won't do it again.
I know. If they die, they probably won't.
Oh, they probably won't. Well, a lot of them dead now.
Nice. Cold-hearted Maze. I like that. I
Now,
agree
I'm
with
just
you.
telling you the truth. And
Yeah.
then when it's about being superior, there's nobody superior over nobody. But you have some people think they are.
Right. Indeed.
Then, because a lot of crimes that y'all don't discuss, we know about, but we don't hear it. We just looking like, oh, that lady just shot and killed her husband Saturday night. It's not on the news.
Not always.
But then you go back to the news and you're watching the news. They'll go back something 10 years from now and put it on the news when y'all do something of a black man.
I know. They always bring up... Are you talking about all these ancient stories like Emmett Till and stuff like that? They
No, I'm not
dredge
talking
all
about
this...
Emmett Till. I'm talking about now.
I know. They bring up old news from 10,
Like the
20,
man-
50 years ago. Trayvon Martin.
That's not what I'm discussing. I'm
What are you
talking
talking
about if a man killed somebody, and he's already in prison, they're going to go back and talk about that story just because a Caucasian man did something. I don't understand it.
What are you talking-
If he did something,
I don't follow your...
What's wrong with bringing y'all crimes to the news every day, just
What?
like we didn't see it?
What?
Why is wrong with bringing the crime that you all do every day to the news, like y'all do black people?
It is. It does get brought to the news. It's just
it
it's
doesn't.
not as common in the white community as it is in the
Really?
black community.
It's just as common. And even when
No,
they go
it's
hunting,
not.
people get shot at hunting season all the time, shot and killed.
Lord.
They ain't even shot his friend. What happened to him? Nothing.
You're speaking ignorance now.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth.
No,
y'all
it's
don't think
not.
y'all should be punished for y'all crimes.
That's not factual.
But and then you tell people to go back to Africa. If they had dual citizenship, maybe they would. And they are going back. Those that want
Why
to.
would they want dual citizenship?
Because they want
us-
to go and control the land that their ancestors came off of and get other people off of it.
They don't know anything about ancestors.
And it's like what's going on in Alabama. That woman down there, whatever her name is, she won't even do what the courts want her to do. They gerrymander you out of one
She's
portion of the
dead.
town
She
to
can't-
another town.
I have no idea what story you're talking about.
The one in Alabama. When it's time for the
I don't know about it.
election time, the way they drew the boundaries.
Gerrymandering?
Yeah, gerrymandering. They do it all the time.
So what? But you're supposed to redraw the lines
You want to redraw it for what reason?
to make it fair for the
Even have
voters.
somebody to represent you.
To make it fair for the voters.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you say. So we see things with our eyes. And the lady that came on your show talking about this.
No, you see things with your imagination. You project
No. I
things.
live what I talk about.
No.
Yes, I do.
Nuh-uh.
Tell me what I talk about that I don't know.
You imagine that William is not black. You imagine that I don't like Obama because he's black. Is that you or is that Joe from Phoenix?
I don't know. You never said why you don't like him. You just don't like him.
Yeah, huh?
Why don't you?
Because I bring up all these things that I disagree with about all he's into.
Really? Then if somebody brings up something that they disagree with Trump on, what's your response?
They hate Trump because he's white.
Really? Really?
Because he's white and a man and tells the truth, brother.
Like I told you, your world is coming to an end because if you watch the basketball players, you watch the football players, watch all the sports players, what do they look like?
Various things, various ways. What?
What do they look like?
Many of them black? Is that what your point is? What are you talking about?
They don't look black and they don't look white.
Oh, Hispanic?
No, they look Hispanic. Just like when West got married to over there in England, when she got married, what did y'all have a fit about? Her marrying that man. Now look at her two children.
Her being evil and liberal
Everything.
and half
Everything
black,
is
half
same old
white, half American, and half evil.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so
Or
that's
all
what you're
evil.
gonna have to look forward to. And if you can't take it, that's gonna be your problem and not ours.
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Yes, you do.
And
our
you
race
brought
is
up
taking
and you
over,
tried
y'all
to.
don't even
It
get it.
sounded like you were trying to be slick and bring up compare the opioid crisis to the crack crisis to
No, I
pretend
was
that.
not. I was bringing up the punishment between the two.
But there's
One group went to
but
jail
it's
and the
night
other
and
one
day.
don't go to.
It's night and day the crimes they're committing.
And they commit crime too, just because they can't get to the opioids. Don't they commit crime?
Yes, they do, but it's night and
Thank
day.
you, but we don't see it on the evening news.
It's night and day the crimes that
Because
they're
what we
committing.
see on the evening news is one group of people.
It's not a fair comparison because
And
you're
if
not
your brain don't work on both sides,
you're not
you
being
can't-
sane, Maze. You're not using your eyes. You're using your imagination.
It's just like the city. You keep talking about the inner city is the inner city. The inner city is not owned by black people anymore. That's what y'all
Was it
forget.
ever?
Excuse me?
Was
Yes,
it ever?
was. Yes.
Or was it owned by the government and they were subsidized housing?
No, it was not subsidized. That's what y'all get more subsidized than anybody, but you don't want to admit it.
Not per capita.
Real coming per capita. Really, you always.
You
put
said
capita
it's
this,
just as
after that.
per
it's-
capita means not as commonly.
Yeah, it's common. Yeah, right.
Nuh-uh, it's not as common.
That's what you say, James.
Yeah, it's because it's the truth.
So when you get to talking about superiority and just always say
Am I
black
live
people
on
think that
Facebook?
white people are superior over them, I don't think so.
So you don't believe in this fake white supremacy stuff, right?
Excuse me?
You don't believe in this fake
I
idea of
believe in
white
the
supremacy.
bigotry stuff. That's what I believe in.
Bigotry.
So, because if you had a house and somebody burnt your house down, and you didn't, and the people that burned your house down didn't rebuild it, that's why that 170-year-old lady still waiting to get her property back, and she still hadn't got it.
Oh,
And
Lord.
she's 107 years old.
Well, she should stop waiting and just
I
accept.
think maybe that's why
she should
she's
accept
living.
her plight
Right,
because
she's gonna get it.
you should just accept your.
When you hear somebody say, "Go back where you came from,"
So what?
but then you took everything they had and make it look like they never had anything.
But oftentimes they didn't.
But I have another one for you, James.
You have one sob story about some
And my last one.
old black lady not getting her
She's still
property
waiting.
taken away.
She's
Well,
still
she
waiting.
should stop waiting because you're not going to get justice in this world.
But her property was taken away from her.
She shouldn't be waiting around to get it back.
Well, maybe somebody keeping her around to keep so she can get it back.
No.
And then again, what do you think about the man that makes water out of air?
Oh, are you talking about that black guy?
I ain't asked you what color he was. I asked you what do you think about the man doing it.
Is he that black guy?
I don't know what he is.
You don't know?
I think he's somebody.
Then I don't know
that,
what you're talking about. If it's a
making
black
water out of
guy,
air.
I know a little bit only.
What do you think about it?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I have to ask you.
You
What
jump
do you think
around
about it?
so much, it's hard to keep up, Maze.
Well, then if your brain will move, it wouldn't be hard. That's for people with a slow brain and can't think.
I know, but you should.
That's just the way it goes. So when
You should
as you
calm-
say I'm your
you should
caller,
calm
I don't
down.
take it as nothing great or grand. That's what you always call me.
What you think about Joel Friday TV?
So in other words, when that lady get her land back,
No. We're moving on. You got to keep
I
up.
hear what you said.
What do you think about Joel Friday TV?
What I think about it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened. I haven't listened enough to.
Oh, okay.
But if I did, and if Joel going down and doing something that I think that I want to give my opinion on, opinions. That's what mine is, opinions and facts. Some people just got opinions with no facts to it.
All right.
So it's okay for everybody to give their opinion,
Yeah.
or you got to stop people from giving it.
Sometimes you have to stop them.
And then you got somebody scared so bad, but they scared to have a conversation. So to answer a question, I like to know where people coming from.
Whatever.
Then just jump on with ideas of their own.
The chat is saying that you called me dumb.
Well, when I call you dumb?
I don't know. I was too slow to catch it.
Well, you were saying I was
Am I
moving all
bright?
around.
Am I bright?
I don't like to hog up the phone. That's why I've been talking to you, and I like to get off, give my opinion,
Right.
and go on to the next one.
Am I bright?
Yes, sometimes.
Nice. Sometimes.
You want the truth? I'm telling
So
you, sometimes.
yes, she did call me dumb because bright means dumb in her linguistics, in her
So anyway, James,
jargon.
nice talking to you, and you have a good one.
You too,
And my
Mace.
opinion is my opinion, and his opinion is his.
All
I can
right.
care less because I'm not afraid of nothing and nobody rules me.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Because I don't have no great white hope and no great white nothing.
Nice. All right,
So
Maze.
have a good one.
You too. Maze in a daze from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line. Jeff, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Man, I had one comment when I called in, but now I have three.
Okay. Let's hear the most important one first.
Well, the first one was the one I called in about was John from Kentucky.
John from Kentucky.
He kept saying in the call this morning, why don't y'all say go back to Africa? It's because they identify as African American.
Some of them do. He doesn't. He's an Israelite,
Well,
he thinks.
Well, go back. Well, I mean, but the majority.
So he should go
of
to
people
Israel.
Well, the majority of people, majority of black people identify as African American.
Yeah.
The dude from Ohio didn't identify as Irish American, did he?
No.
So
Mike
what-
from Ohio,
what-
he didn't say anything about being Irish, I don't think. He's probably not even Irish.
And then Josh says, go back to Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take in context when we say that.
That was
Yeah, my-
ignorance. But he was joking
Yeah, my-
around, really. He was just trying to troll him. John from Kentucky was trying to troll Mike with that one.
He may have.
Yeah, he said he was kidding.
My second comment is to Mays. Did the white man go in? Did the CIA and the FBI and the white man go in these inner cities and beg people to take crack?
No, yeah, exactly. That's, I mean, if the CIA did, I wouldn't put it past the CIA to do something wrong, because I've heard that they do wrong things. FBI, they're a bunch of liberals, you know.
That's the point, man. They didn't go in and beg them to take crack. It's willpower.
Exactly.
They got the willpower to turn it down.
Willpower. You learn about that in. You ever read the book Frog and Toad? Those little books, children's books.
No, I haven't, man. I just know it's just.
I've heard of willpower from that. Like Frog and Toad were eating cookies, and Frog, the taller one, told Toad, "I don't want any more cookies. I have willpower. I know that too many cookies are bad for you." So he uses willpower not to take so many cookies. And the blacks have the ability sometimes not to take those drugs or sell them and sell their souls selling them. And but no, Tupac needed money on his own, so he started slinging.
Yeah, but everything in the country is a white man's fault for the whites not having willpower.
Yeah.
I mean, we're giving. Basically, they're saying we're gods because we have the will. We can know anything they want to do.
Yeah.
And make them do anything they want to do.
Yeah, just blaming others for your failure.
Your shortcomings.
Yep.
I mean, it's like tomorrow morning. You know, if I get up, I can have a gallon of whiskey sitting here. You know, it's up to me. Don't want to drink or don't want to drink.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just basic stuff.
And
do you want to do right? You don't want to do the right
thing. You have no will, says overt, quoting JLP. Yeah, you don't have a free will. Based Frog, though, Hake quoting scripture from Frog and Toad, amen. But you still make a point that you don't have to be getting into this, especially if you haven't crossed that line yet. Now, granted, if the whole world around you, such as in the black world, everybody's doing it, they think. Like the guy on WWII Hassan last week, he said, "I don't know anybody who's Christian or otherwise who's not having the S word out of wedlock, sex out of wedlock." Yeah. And so he thinks that everybody's doing it. He's going to do it too. He's not going to wait until marriage, right? But just because you don't know anybody who's not doing it doesn't mean that it's not possible not to do, because maybe he does know people and he just doesn't know that he knows them.
It goes back to what your parents used to say when you were a kid, man, when you do something stupid. Well, if all your friends jump off a bridge, you jump off a bridge?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's just... But okay, my last time I let you go, because I know you got stuff to get to. On the guy from Ohio, I want to comment on one thing, kind of elaborate on one thing he was saying.
All right.
And it's not just black people. It's white people. It's Mexicans. It's everybody. But, for example, what he was talking about is, dude, I've worked 16, 18, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
Climbing power poles and running through attics and all this stuff. But when you get in the morning time and you're on your way to work and you stop at a store, or say you stop at a grocery store and grab something for lunch, and you see somebody paying with food stamps for 2 bogus loaded groceries.
Yeah.
You walk outside and get in a brand new SUV that's parked in a handicapped spot. Then later on that day, you go to their house, at the Section 8 house paid for by the government, your tax dollars, and you got to spend 4 or 5 hours there installing stuff, maybe you get kind of pissed off.
Yeah, but follow JLP's advice. Follow that warning not to be angry at the injustice and the evil.
I don't let it bother me, man. I mean, you know, when you're in the moment, it's y'all. But at the end of the day, it has nothing. It's nothing affects me.
They're
nothing
suffering.
Outside.
Don't resent you doing right just because others are getting by doing wrong. Because they're not.
Man, nothing outside my mind affects me. Whatever goes in my mind, my life.
True.
You know, if somebody robs a bank tomorrow and what, I mean, it don't affect me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I got my stuff taken care of, and that's all I worry about.
Yeah.
But man, I'll let you go, man. I know you got more calls to get to.
Appreciate you, man. Take care, Jeff.
Okay.
All right, bye. Hey, nice. I hung up before any click. Pretty good timing. Just calling me quick with my cat-like reflexes. Okay. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, callers. Let me cover this one more quick story about the homeless situation. Homeless mess out of Seattle. This is from Chou, ChoeShow on X, Twitter. Journalist Jonathan Chou shares this, talking about it's getting worse in Seattle. Clip 14. Check out this mess. There shouldn't be any cussing. I listened to the whole thing pretty much. And he's this journalist guy who's talking with a black shopper from Fred Meyer Fred Meyer's a grocery store or something up in the Seattle area. And out behind Fred Meyer in the beautiful neighborhood, it's polluted with this blight of like close to 30 tents. One with he said, freaking door. Don't say that, kids. So many unresolved homeless encampments in Seattle. This one is in Greenwood, which is, I guess, a neighborhood around in the Seattle area. Neighbors, he says, keep flooding my DMs, saying the city, along with council member Dan Strauss, kind of like Levi Strauss, probably not a Christian, are ignoring the problem. Open-air drug use, more crime, yelling at all hours of the day, trash spilling out into the streets. Check this out.
Sean, you live in this neighborhood, bro.
Well, as you can tell, I just left the Fred Meyer, paying for my things, got my receipt to show.
Nice. Honest black man.
Out here, man, it's like a party. You got people blasting music, all hours of the nights, type of ruckus that people don't want to be hearing. Drug deals. You can walk up here, and I guarantee by the time you get to the stop sign, you'll see somebody smoking fentanyl in one of them 3 cars, right? So it's just like, it's a disaster. People were using the bathroom on the streets. You got to dodge human waste out back of Fred Meyer. I just want them to get some help. You know what I mean? I mean, good resources.
How do you live with this as a neighbor, though? You live right down the street.
You can't really, man. After 8 o'clock, it starts getting dark.
Look at that door.
Dark early now. You know what I mean? You can't be coming down this street.
Clown
it's
mask.
Dangerous. They steal everything that's not bolted down. Go through the trashes.
Look at that.
It's just a mess, Joe. It really is.
It keeps growing.
Yeah, it started out with like 4 or 5
What
tents.
is that?
And you'll get up there and see it looks like someone tore down a lady's art tent up there. That just happened yesterday. So it's just, people are tired of it, man. Got grills out here, feces. Yeah, and rent-free at that. Rent-free at that. All right, Chou, I got to
bro. You do you, bro.
Yep.
Beautiful area, too, otherwise.
Isn't this a risk for your dog?
Yeah, I just try to go around,
You see that bloody rag on the streets?
Yeah. I don't know how people do that.
He wasn't cussing. Discovery Institute, Wealth and Poverty, FixHomelessness.org. FixHomelessness.org. So it sounds like a liberal reporter, I'm not sure. Independent journalist type of a guy. Awful, huh? I mean, this, not surprising. It's just another thing. And these are like upstanding black people trying to walk their dogs. Light-skinned black guy with a tattoo on his neck walking his dog and trying to watch out for the needles and things on the street. Terrible. Same issues. Concerned this place is being used as a chop shop, stealing stuff. One guy told me he was sawing off a metal part of a brand new hose line to sell at a local scrapyard. Perfectly legal as long as it's not stolen. Neighbor Sean Gaston walked by, showed his receipt for groceries. That's the guy. Totally unsolicited. That's because he was implying some people out here steal while he works his rear off to pay for everything he owns. Sounds like my caller, Mr. Mumbles. I'm blanking on his name, my caller just now. His nickname is Mumbles. I'm not bagging on him necessarily. The reasonable people of this city are just tired of this cycle. I just want them to get help. Dumb liberals. Don't say dumb, kids. By the way, if you're keeping count, the encampment's already been cleared several times in the past year. By several, does he mean, 3, 4? Because several used to mean 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9. Been cleared several times in the past year. Remind me again why the city allows it to come back. Terrible. Jonathan Chou is this journalist guy from Seattle. Show his profile picture. Homeless Jonathan Chou. He's a liberal. I think. Can't really tell. Discovery Institute. What a mess. See, he's Asian. A lot of Asians in Seattle. That's where Bruce Lee died, right? Or was buried or something like that, I want to say. I don't know. Anyway, just a terrible mess going on. All up and down the West Coast. Anyway, Russ from Hampton, Virginia is on the line. Russ, thanks for calling and holding. How you doing?
Yes, sir. One question about myself.
Stay close to your phone. It's kind of breaking up a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just the way I speak. Can you hear me better now?
Sort of. Yeah, go for it. Let's hear it.
Okay. So I'm in a situation where I'm trying to find a new place to live. And I was having issues with that. And so somebody suggested that I seek out information for people with disabilities.
Disabilities?
And I said,
meaning handicaps?
Disabilities, yes.
Yeah.
Well, they said disability.
Right.
So I said, I'm not disabled. What are you talking about?
Right.
They're like, yeah, you are disabled. So I thought about it. I'm like, well, listen, I don't want to miss out on something that I can, use for my benefit, but I don't want to lie.
Right.
So let me look at the definition.
All right.
So technically, by the definition, I am disabled.
By their legal
so
stuff?
I look back. Say again?
By their legal stuff about being wheelchair bound or something like that. Hard time getting around.
It's not all that.
You broke your back.
It's not all that. But
yeah.
Legally, well, I do have a broken back. But legally, I am disabled. But what I wanted to ask is, am I being delusional, not accepting my situation, or I'm being overly confident about what I can do? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I can't tell you based on that little bit of information. Are you confused at whether you should take that assistance or not?
I've not been given any assistance for that.
Right, but
I was just wondering, am I ignoring my existence? Am I ignoring my situation? Or I'm just being overly confident? That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't think you're doing either one. I can't tell, but my impression of you is that you're making do with life as it is, the best that you know how. And you're
that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. I take what comes at me and I twist it so that I can move forward positively. And it's funny, when I think about this, I remember a conversation I had with Jesse. And Jesse asked me, well, do you get angry? No, I don't get angry. If my fingers don't move and I'm angry, that just means I'm a madman whose fingers don't move. That don't do nothing good for you.
Right.
So no, I don't get angry. I learn how to deal with it, and I try to put a smile on my face and try to keep moving forward. That's what I do. But I don't want to ignore my true existence.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if there's an opportunity to get a little extra money, I don't know. I don't know if it's wrong to get that.
I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for money.
Well, what do you mean by ignoring your existence, your situation? What do you mean by ignoring it? What do you mean you don't want to ignore your situation?
Okay, so like, for example, the way it came up was I'm trying to move. And so they were saying, well, there are properties that you might be able to get in because you're disabled. And I'm like, I'm not disabled. I have issues. Yes, that, of course I know. But I don't consider myself to be disabled And if anybody asks me, I don't want to lie to them and say, yeah, I'm disabled. But I'm not. That's a lie. I have no reason to lie to no one about nothing.
Right on, man. It sounds like you're doing stuff pretty much right then. You're fine.
Okay.
I appreciate your call, man.
No problem, man.
All right. Take care, man. Russ in Hampton, Virginia. Art in Ohio is on the line. Art, how you doing, man? Thanks for calling and holding.
I'm all right. How you doing, Hake?
Doing fine. Thank you.
Hey, look, man, don't be huffing and puffing because you get Art up on the phone.
I was huffing and puffing because I was pondering Russ's call. It was interesting. It reminds me of situations with other people talking. So anyway.
Yeah, you up here huffing and puffing because Art baby on the line.
Indeed.
And no, Art don't want to talk to Maze, man. What I want to hear that foolishness for? Don't be talking to me on the phone with no Maze.
I wonder if it's the phone lines are on our end. Go ahead.
Yeah, trying to put William up there on the phone with Maze. Ain't nobody trying to talk to Maze, baby. Shoot. What's going on with you, Hake?
I like talking with Maze, but yeah, I don't force other people to talk to anybody. And I don't really like doing caller wars where callers call in and talk crap about each other. So
yeah,
but I like every now and then having people talk to one another. That's fun.
You know, William or Alpha, we ain't nobody trying to talk to no Maze.
Right.
True.
Anyway.
Yeah, but shout out to Russ for drinking a tall glass of Alpha testosterone. He got a little bit of bass up in his voice nowadays, so I want to give him a round of applause.
Nice.
Yeah, did you hear that, man? He was sounding like he went to Alpha school and got some little bass or what. They don't tell him how to speak with his chest or something.
Kind of like what they did to that guy who played Johnny Cash, Joaquin Phoenix, who's going to play in Julius Caesar or some other show or whatever, some other movie.
Yeah, just like
he's all high-pitched voice. I am in love with my sister. And then now he wants, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. They taught him to speak with his chest.
Yeah.
Nice.
So check this out, just like what was that?
Neapolitan.
The Asian country or whatnot. You hear me?
Sorry, man. I was speaking while you were talking. Go ahead. Start that.
You showed a clip a while ago. It was an Asian dude or whatnot. He was all on that TikTok and had the little feminine, girly boy hair and trying to pass the law to where they couldn't have long hair and they forced him to go into the army, sort of like that.
Oh, was that a clip on my show?
I think it was. You did show something like that with a dude. He was on TikTok and he was all feminine or whatnot. And then you showed the clip of him when he was feminine on the little LGBTQ tip. And then you showed the clip after trying to pass that rule to where they all had to enlist and cut their hair off and enlist into the army. And then he was looking like a honorable young man, which he probably ain't, still probably a leotard.
Right.
But, you know, they trying to make him change his way.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head, but it's so common. There are these grown men. Like I was thinking about the man who was talking with Joe Scarborough, the white-haired or slightly bald, pretty bald, man who was talking about, those Trump supporters are pretty impervious to our phony propaganda about Trump being mentally off and nonsensical or nonsensible, whatever. And he looks like he's manly, but really he thinks like a liberal, which is to say Satan-minded, female-minded liberal male. What a shame.
Yeah.
Men, it can be very deceiving. There's a whole lot of liberals in Hollywood who look like men, but inwardly they're effeminate, not clear and manly.
You can say that again. Definitely, they running rampant in California with that little look with the masculine little beard. They got the masculine little beard, but everything that flows up out of their heart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Feminine is their mama.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because their mamas is masculine. The liberal mamas is masculine, and the boys is feminine.
So true.
Yeah. But what I wanted to call about is Hassan said he was talking to a Jew, and he said that the Jewish dude said that he wanted to take the Second Amendment rights away.
Yeah.
Well, I find that awfully funny because I thought when we went over there on D-Day to go fight, the Americans went over there, the Negro blacks and the European whites went over there on D-Day or whatnot to fight Hitler. I could have swore they went over there with guns in their hands. They didn't walk over there with them LGBTQ flags asking Hitler to unhand them Jewish people out them alleged camps they was in. They had flags in their hands.
True. Yeah. Guns. The way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, or the way to stop a good guy with a gun is a bad guy with a gun.
Yeah.
Or a fellow bad guy is another bad guy with a gun. Guns are tools for good and evil, mostly evil, but sometimes good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just find that awfully funny or whatnot, because
actually maybe mostly good.
Yeah.
Because I heard from Sean Hannity. I heard from Sean Hannity that there are more crimes stopped with guns than committed with guns.
Yeah. I agree that they stop more. It's more. I agree. It's more good to come from guns than it do negative.
Yeah. And it's reality too. They hate reality because you're not going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't. It's mama spirit. That's addressing the surface rather than the root. As Hassan said, it's a people thing. People are evil. The evil of the heart caused them to misuse the gun.
Thanks.
And they encourage evil of the heart. They encourage the destruction of the family and anger, which those things cause crime.
Yep. From the foundation on up.
Yeah.
But I just find it awfully funny that, I mean, you just look and learn over history or whatnot and see that, and it goes for whites and blacks, and it goes for foreigners coming over here, and the Jewish too.
Right.
That they left and got saved up out of that situation, and in turn they trying to do this. They trying to back themselves into the corner to where it happens over here in America. If you take the gun away, the same thing happened over there with Hitler's gonna happen over here in America. Goofball, libtard, and libtard.
That's what I heard. I remember hearing that when I was just a tender normie learning about history, that I learned that they took away the gun rights from the Jewish people so that they could round them up and either deport them or put them in the camps or whatever. And that's what I think that's what communists do too. And those are even, communists are even worse and more murderous than the Nazis, I heard.
I mean, but that's only common sense, though. If you ain't got no weapons to defend yourself, and then the demtards and the libtards, like, well, what about UK? What about they only have whistles and sticks when they go. Their police only have whistles and sticks or whatnot. They don't need guns over there.
Stay close to your phone, Art.
Well, yeah, that's how UK roll. They police got only whistles and sticks.
Yeah.
Well, America and United Kingdom is two different places.
Yeah.
This ain't that, and that. This ain't that, and that ain't this.
And we don't want to be anything like UK. UK is weak and self-destroying, and we're pretty weak and self-destroying too. You don't want to copy. You don't want to copy a weak, self-destroying country. You're just going to bring more weakness and self-destruction.
Yeah.
Yep.
And truth be told, that game plan ain't gonna always work. After a while, something's going to end up happening over here in the UK where they're going to end up being forced to end up having to resort back to guns.
Yeah,
you can't run the same offense and the same defense that you will run on the Washington Wizards that you're going to run on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was a black Muslim guy in UK who cut the head off of some, might have even been a cop, but some guy, maybe even a soldier or something, with no recourse in front of everybody. He just chopped him to pieces. It was terrible, horrific things happening. You don't take away the manly independence of men to be able to defend themselves and women to be able to defend themselves and be self-sufficient. Shameful. Great points, Art. Appreciate you, man.
One more thing.
Real quick.
Hey, you won't go over there in Compton where the Pyrus is, the Bloods or whatnot, and wear no blue T-shirt with you.
No sirree, Bob.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah. True.
Okay, so why would you go around some blacks and call them the N-word? And hold up, before you even say anything, I want to give a shout out to who that Hassan was saying some black dude beat up a Mexican or whatnot because the Mexican called him the N-word, and the Mexican was like...
Might not even called him anything. He just said the word. I don't even know if he called him anything. He just said the word in front of him.
Same difference.
Yeah.
So shout out to that black dude that handed that Mexican his butt, and the Mexican is foolish. But I thought we could say it. Well, you thought wrong. If you ain't no Negro from over here that was your people's ancestors in American slavery or whatnot, you ain't part of RDR in the gang, American Negro gang. That you ain't part of the gang. So you can't be saying the N-word or whatnot. So you take it at your own risk. You want to be a bad butt on the internet and act like you saying it around black people. Well, you get around the right black people, and gang gonna hop up on you like a slave ship, and they're gonna wear that butt out.
Well, so, I disavow violence over a word, but thank you, Art. I gotta run. We gotta end it.
All right, I'll catch you later.
All right, take care, man. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I'll have to get to the rest of the super chats if any were left over that I didn't get to tomorrow. Catch American Anchor Baby. He will be live in about an hour. All right, and enjoy. Hey, this is that song that you guys liked, Fury 101 by Left Out. Here it is. So good.
What are the innocent meant to suffer? Do you have any faith? It's here, you're gonna die.
So good.
So what are you gonna do about it?
It's Christian.
You made a deal with God to live forever.
Look at that poor seal. Sick.
You made a deal with God to live forever.
Forever.
You're all gonna die. Your question is how you're gonna check out. Do you want on your feet? Or on your knees? Begging. I ain't much for begging. No one ever gave me nothing.
No one ever gave me
You
nothing.
made a deal with God to live forever. You made a deal with God to live forever.
So good.
You're all gonna die. God will take care of you now.
God will take care of you now.
Pray.
Pray.
God will take care of you now.
Sacred code.
Pray. God will take care of you now.
Palos Verdes. Somewhere. Not Christian, Hake. Sorry. Adios, America. Bye.